Okay, we have dividing decimals today. And our goofy little saying that we have when we're dividing decimals is scoot, scoot, zoom, divide. We're going to talk about in class a little bit deeper as to why we are scooting and zooming before we divide, but our notes are going to be fairly brief today. Our first step is to scoot the decimal in our divisor, our decimal on the outside. We want to scoot until our decimal on the outside, our number, is a whole number. We want to be able to get rid of our decimal so that we are dividing by a plain Jane number that we are familiar with. Essentially, we're going to be multiplying our divisor by a power of 10 until it's a whole number. And so if we scoot on the outside or multiply by a base 10 on the outside, we're going to have to do the same thing to the inside to our dividend. So thus, scoot, scoot, right? Whatever I do on the outside, I'm going to end up doing on the inside. So let's take a peek at what that looks like. So I have 5/10. In order for me to make 5/10 a whole number, I'm going to scoot my decimal over one time. Essentially, we're just multiplying by 10. But if I scoot my decimal on the outside once, if I scoot in my divisor once, that means I'm going to have to scoot in my dividend once as well. Right? If I multiply by 10 on the outside, I'm going to have to multiply by 10 on the inside, right? Whatever I do on the outside, have to do to the inside. So scoot, scoot, and then we're going to zoom our decimal up into our answer, and then we're just going to divide like normal using basic long division, right? Because all we're doing is just dividing by a regular number. So 5 goes into 3, 0 times. Put that 0 up top so our work doesn't get squished and messy. 5 goes into 38, 7 times. 7 times 5 is 35. That gives us 3. Bring our next number down and repeat it. 5 goes into 35, 7 times. 7 times 5 is 35, and there we are. Right, our final answer of 77 hundredths. Okay, so let's see what that looks like. This was our big, gigantic problem following our steps, and now we have a few smaller problems to do together. So let's take a peek. So scoot, scoot, zoom, and then divide the whole thing. So we're going to scoot until our divisor, our number on the outside, is a whole number, so we scoot twice. If we scoot twice on the outside, we're going to scoot twice on the inside. What are we going to put in this big open space? A placeholder 0. So scoot, scoot, zoom your decimal up. Then we just divide like normal. 5 goes into 3, 0 times. 5 goes into 38, 7 times. This should look kind of familiar. We just actually did this kind of division problem. 5 goes into 35, 7 times. Bring down the 0, because we're not finished. Even though we have no remainder, we still have to bring down that last number. And then 5 goes into 0, 0 times. So we have a final answer of 770. Okay. Let's take a peek at our next one. My number on the outside is already a whole number, so do I have anywhere to scoot? No. We don't have anywhere to scoot this time, and that's fine. Sometimes we have to scoot on the inside and the outside, not every time. So, no scooting on the inside, no scooting on the outside means no scooting on the inside. So we just fast forward to bringing our decimal up and then dividing like normal. So 5 goes into 3, 0 times. 5 goes into 38, 7 times. Have a remainder of 3. Bring our next number down. 5 goes into 35, 7 times. All right, so our final answer is 7 and 7/10. There we go. All right, so these next few, I want to see if you can set these up on your own. So these are going to be some practice problems where you push pause, work it out, and then push play to check. All right, so go ahead and push pause and answer this first problem. Okay, so we're going to have to scoot 2 times because that's going to get us to a whole number. If I scoot twice on the outside, I'm going to scoot twice on the inside. Scoot, scoot, zoom, and then divide. 2 goes into 5 twice. Just doing a long division problem. 2 goes into 16. 8, notice how my answer is going right on top of that. Woohoo, no remainder, we're done. JK, we still have a number to bring down. 2 goes into 7 3 times. Yikes, we have leftovers. Just add that extra 0. Doesn't change our number, but it allows us to keep dividing. 2 goes into 10 5 times. All right, there we are. Give yourself a check if you got that one right, or start if you need some help. Okay, we're gonna move on to this next problem. So go ahead and push pause and answer the next one. Okay, remember our first number is the one that goes in the house. So our silly way to remember that, you guys laughed at me when I said it in class, but the way that I remembered it is whichever number comes first gets to go in the house. The firstborn gets the house and the secondborn has to sleep outside on the porch. Ha ha. Just kidding, but that does maybe help you remember which one goes in the house. Anyway, first number goes in the house. The first number is our divisor. We have to scoot until our whole number until our decimal is a whole number. So scoot, scoot. We scooted twice on the inside, so now we're going to scoot twice on the inside. In our big open space, we're going to fill it with a 0 and divide like normal. 2 goes into 1 0 times. 2 goes into 13 6 times. And we're just dividing. Nothing too fancy here. Bringing down our next number. Why am I going crazy? 2 goes into 16 8 times. Everyone's brain gets tired sometimes, kids. 8 times 2 is 16. And bring down that next number. Even though we have no remainder, we still have to finish it off. And 2 goes into 0 times. Oof, I forgot to zoom it up. Scoot, scoot, zoom, and then I should have divided. That's okay. Our answer is 680. Give yourself a check or start if that's something you need to have some clarification on. All right, go ahead and push pause, answer our next problem, and then check that one. Okay, the fraction bar means to divide. So we're gonna set this up. Who goes in the house? Our top dog. Sometimes it's the bigger number, sometimes it's the smaller number. Doesn't matter, right? We talked about how the top dog in a house can be that itsy bitsy feisty chihuahua, right? It's whatever number's on top. All right, we're gonna scoot until our divisor is a whole number. So we're gonna scoot once on the inside, zoom it up, and divide. 5 goes into 5 once. No remainder. Bring down that next one. 5 goes into 6 once. Subtract. Bring it on down. 5 goes into 17 3 times. That gives us 15. Ooh, with a remainder of 2, what do we do? Add another 0. Bring it all the way down. Whoops, read it a little too far down. Oh well, that's okay. 5 goes into 20 4 times. And that shakes out evenly because 4 times 5 is 20. So we have 11 and 34 hundredths. Give yourself a check if you got that one right, or start if you need some extra practice. All right, last one. Push pause, answer the problem, and then check it at the end. Okay. Set up our division box. The firstborn gets to sleep in the house. The secondborn sleeps outside. We don't need to scoot on the outside, so there's no scooting on the inside. Zoom that decimal up. 5 goes into 3 0 times. Okay, so we're gonna have to keep dividing by adding an extra 0. 5 goes into 30. Goes in evenly 6 times. So that's it. Our answer is just 6/100. All right, give yourself a check if you got that one right, or star it. Okay, dividing decimals. Scoot, scoot, zoom, divide. Scoot on the outside until we have a whole number. Scoot on the inside, that same number of times. Zoom your decimal up into your answer, and then we're just dividing like normal. All right, good job.